I found out I had a twin sister the same day I found out my parents had given her away. I was 19, home from my first year of college, going through a box in the attic looking for my old yearbooks. The box was labeled with my name in my mother's handwriting. Inside were my school photos, a report card from 3rd grade, a birthday card I had made her in kindergarten, and at the very bottom, a sealed envelope I had never seen, with the words, "Do not open," written across the back in my father's hand. I opened it. Inside was a photograph of 2 infant girls, side by side in a hospital bassinet. On the back, written in pencil, Hannah and Claire, 3 days old. My name is Hannah. I have been an only child my entire life. I sat in the attic for a long time before I went downstairs. My parents were in the kitchen making dinner. I put the photograph on the table between them and I didn't say anything. I just watched their faces. My mother looked at the photo and closed her eyes. My father put down the knife he was holding very carefully, like he was suddenly aware of everything his hands were doing. What came out over the next 2 hours was this. My parents had been 23 when I was born. My mother had a severe postpartum breakdown that required hospitalization for 6 weeks. My father was working 2 jobs and caring for 2 infants alone and said he was drowning. His sister had offered to take one of the babies temporarily while my mother recovered. Temporarily. That was the word everyone used. Temporarily became 3 months, then 6, then a year. By the time my mother was stable and they asked for the second baby back, my father's sister had filed for guardianship. She said the child had bonded to her. She said disruption would cause harm. A judge agreed. They had not told me because they did not know how. That was what my mother said. They had not told me because every year it got further away and harder to explain. That was what my father said. They had not told me because they were ashamed. That was what neither of them said, but what I heard in the silence underneath everything else. I asked where she was. My father said she still lived with his sister, 2 states away. I asked if she knew about me. He looked at the table. He said he didn't know. I called my aunt that night from my childhood bedroom, the same room where I had grown up as an only child while my twin sister existed somewhere I wasn't told about. My aunt picked up on the second ring. I told her who I was and why I was calling. There was a long silence. Then I heard a voice in the background asking who was on the phone. My aunt said quietly, "It's your sister." The silence that followed was the longest of my life. Claire came on the line. She said my name once like she was testing whether it was real. I said hers back the same way. We talked for 4 hours. She had grown up knowing about me. She had been told our parents gave me up. She had spent 19 years believing I had been the one who was surrendered, that she was the one they kept. She had built an entire internal story about what that meant about her value and mine. Everything she had been told was a mirror image of the truth. Same lie, opposite direction. My parents did not give either of us up intentionally. What they did was lose control of a situation during the worst period of their lives, and then spend 2 decades unable to face what that loss had produced. I believe that. I have sat with it long enough to believe it fully. What I cannot resolve is this. My sister spent 19 years thinking she was the chosen one, the kept one, the loved one, and that somewhere out there, I existed as evidence that our parents had limits on their love. That story damaged her in ways she is still working through at 22. They could have told us the truth at any point. They chose not to every single year. Claire and I talk every week now. We are learning each other from the beginning, which is strange and slow and sometimes wonderful. My parents want to meet her. She hasn't decided yet. I told her there was no timeline. I told her whatever she needed. I meant it. But I also know it's not my forgiveness that matters most here. It never was.